Hello everyone. This is Eric from Invensis Learning with yet another session on Minitab tutorial. Welcome to our YouTube channel. Numbers are everywhere. Whether you are in business, your business is a service industry, or it is a manufacturing industry. Whether you are in IT or whether you are in healthcare, there are numbers around you. How do you make best use of these numbers? How do you use numbers to make fact-based decisions, rather than making decisions based on your gut feeling? Statistics has been a most valued skill in any field. Even if you search on Google Best Rated Skills, you would find statistics as one of the top-ranked skills which are needed by employees. There are a number of softwares, there are a number of tools to use statistics. Minitab is one of those which is an advanced tool to make your analysis very simple using just a few clicks. You can do many of these analyses using Microsoft Excel as well. But once you look at the power of Minitab, you will realize that things become much simpler with Minitab. The graphical output which Minitab gives will help you in convincing the people around you to take those decisions, because these decisions are fact-based, well presented in graphical form. So, without further delay, let's get started with today's agenda. We will begin this session by understanding how to download Minitab. Once you understand how to download Minitab on your device, we will see about statistics and its types. And then, we will get introduced to Minitab. Post that, we will try to understand the data types in Minitab. And then, we will see row statistics in Minitab. And finally, we will end this session by understanding the column statistics in Minitab. I hope you are clear with the agenda. Now, let's get started. In this tutorial, you are learning about using Minitab for your statistical analysis. But where do you get Minitab from? You can download your free copy of Minitab if you go to Minitab.com. You go to Minitab.com, and this is what you see as a front screen. And then you go to Products and click on Minitab Statistical Software. Then you can start your free 30-day trial period by filling out the form. Once you fill out all the details, you will receive an email within a few minutes. It can take up to 15 minutes for a follow-up email from Minitab. Once the verification process is done, you can simply download Minitab desktop version. So once you download this, you can install it on your laptop or on your PC. Now let's try to understand the difference between descriptive and inferential statistics. There are two types of statistics. One branch of statistics is descriptive, and the second branch of statistics is inferential. Before we understand the difference between descriptive and inferential statistics, let's talk a little bit about sampling. So a number of times, you have a lot of information, but then what you do is, you draw a sample out of that. For example, your machine is producing 1,000 pieces a day, and then you just pick up 10, 15, 20 pieces out of that production, and you want to learn about that process from whatever number of samples you have picked. So here you have a population. This population would be those 1,000 pieces which are produced by day. And out of that, you take a small sample out of that. So this is a sample, and that's the whole population. So let's understand the difference between descriptive statistics and inferential statistics. Descriptive statistics will provide the summary of the whole data, the thing which you are studying. For example, if you are studying about the salary of 100 people in your company, and you find out the average salary, that is descriptive statistics. You look at the thing, and you want to conclude about that thing only. As against descriptive statistics, what inferential statistics does is, you want to reach to a conclusion that extends beyond your data. So in inferential statistics, you want to conclude something which is beyond your data, the data which you have studied. So for example again goes to the population, where there were 1,000 pieces produced a day, and you took a sample of 20 pieces out of that. So by looking at the sample, if you want to draw a conclusion about the population, then that is inferential. Because you want to draw inference about the whole population looking at the sample, and going back to descriptive is where you look at the whole population, and you just want to draw conclusions about what it is. So that is the difference between descriptive and inferential statistics. So what do you do in descriptive statistics? For example, you take the measurement of central tendency. So measurement of central tendency is one thing, and then you want to talk about the dispersion of that. In simple terms, let's say range. So you want to find out the average salary in the example we talked earlier, and you want to find out the range of the salary. So that is all about descriptive statistics. In inferential statistics, you use tests like t-test or ANOVA, analysis of variance. So you do these sort of tests when you're using inferential statistics. Now, let's get introduced to Minitab. Minitab is a software product that helps you to analyze the data. This is designed essentially for the Six Sigma professionals. It provides a simple, effective way to input the statistical data, manipulate that data, identify trends and patterns, and then extrapolate answers to the current issues. Once you open the Minitab, this is what you're going to have. The first component at the top, you'll see a menu bar. If we move a little bit below, then we see a toolbar. So in the toolbar, we have these options here, which provide a quick link to the most commonly used things. What you see here is a worksheet or a data window which is at the bottom of the screen. So these are the main elements of Minitab screen. Now let's look at the data types which we have in Minitab. So we have three types of data here. The first type is numeric. The second type is text, and the third type is date and time. So now if you look at the database of students in the class, we have the name, we have the age, and we have the height. C1 has -T. So C1-T, T here means that this is a text type, and if you don't have any dash, that is numeric data. For example, if you look at C2, C2 doesn't have anything as a dash. So that is the numeric data. For example, age 24 is a number here, and the height 160 is also a number. Now looking at the third type of data, which is date and time. Let's add another field here, which is date of birth of the student, and let's say the student's date of birth was 1st of June 1997. Now if you look at this, Minitab has automatically added -D here. This means that this is the date field. If you need to change from one data type to another data type, you can click on data here, and then change the data type. You can select the variable and choose the data type which you want. So if there's any need to change that, you can change by clicking here. Many times when you copy data from Excel to Minitab, fields get mixed up. So for example, if you have copied age from Excel sheet, this might have come as a text. So how does the text look like? So here I want to change that age from numeric to text, and I want to store it here in the same field. Okay, so now if you see, number 24 has moved to the left. So anything which is text is left aligned, and anything which is a number is a right aligned, which you can see here. Age is text, because this is left aligned, and height is number as it is right aligned. So that way, you can recognize whether this number is here as a text or as a number. But if you need to do any calculation, if you need to find out any statistics related to that, then you will have to change this to a number. Now let's try to understand row statistics. But before we do that, let us understand what information do we have? So here we have information related to 7 students. These 7 students have gone through 3 tests, Test 1, Test 2, and Test 3. So 3 tests were taken by these 7 students. Now what I'm looking here is to find out that average of these students. So for example, the first student is Tharun Singh. Tharun Singh scored 72 marks in the first test, 93 marks in the second test, and 93 marks in the third test. So what is the average score of Tharun Singh? So for that I need to find out the mean of that. There are a number of ways you can do that exercise. Let's look at 2 of those methods. So what I want to do is, I want to find the average. So I have created a column name as average, and here on C7, I have given another name average R. Both of these will be averages, but we will be finding these averages using 2 different approaches. So let's look at the first approach. So, to find out average, what I will do is, I will go to Calc, which is the calculator. And from there, I will select the row statistics because we are trying to find out statistics related to specific row. I need to find out the mean. So I clicked on mean, and then in input variables, I want to find out the mean of column C3, which is test 1, and C4, which is test 2, and C5, which is test 3. And I want to put mean of that in column C6, which is average. So that's where I want to store the result of average for each student. So with that, I see that average for each student has been calculated. So the average score for Tharun Singh is 86.000%. And then next, Sabit Ansari has got 89.333%. So that's one way of calculating the average using the row statistics. Coming to the second approach, go to Calc and we could use Calculator. Now, store results in variable. Where do we want to store the result? We want to store the result of this in C7, which is average R. And what we want to do here is, I kept this under bracket. Test1 plus, test2 plus test3. And then outside output divided by 3. So that will give me average for each student, and that will be put in column C7, which is average R. So let me do that. Press OK. And here I get the average R. Here, you can see that C6 and C7 are similar. So we could use any of these approaches to calculate the row statistics. Going a step farther. Probably I don't need the result of these up to 4 decimals. I just need the result of that up to 1 decimal. So for example, here instead of 89.333, I'm okay with 89.3. So I need to do some rounding here. So for that what I will do is, again I will go to Calc, and I will go to Calculator. Whatever I did earlier stays here. This will show what I had done earlier. Now I need to do a rounding of these numbers. So for that what I will do is, I will select the whole expression here, then I have got a lot of functions here. Number of functions I have here which I can use. So one of those functions would be rounding. So let's find that out. And here I have the round function. So when I click on it, you can see that rounding means round, and in the bracket, this has to be number and the decimal numbers. How many decimals you need the result to? Once I select that, expression would be changed. I need to put the number of decimals. So I will remove that decimals and I'll put number of decimals I want. So I want the result to be rounded to single decimal. So I put this as 1. Now if you see, C7 is showing me the average of these students up to 1 decimal number. So that's how we do the rounding of that. Now let's try to understand column statistics. Here, I want to look at each of these 3 tests, Test 1, Test 2, and Test 3, and find out the statistics related to these 3 tests. So let's do that. So for that, go to Statistics, then go to Basic Statistics, and display Descriptive Statistics. Clicking on that, I want to find out statistics related to Test 1. So I would go to Test 1 and double-click on that. And this is the variable which I am interested in. What statistics I want to look at? So let me select. There are a number of choices. So I go to Statistics, and I look at the choices here. The first thing I will do is, I will click on None to remove everything. Now what I want to find out is, the mean of Test 1 for all the students. And then I want to find out the total number of students in total. That's all I need to know at this time. Now press OK. So this is what I get here. For Test 1, the total count is 7. So there are 7 students and the mean of Test 1 is 87.86%. So this Test 1 has 87.86% mean for all students. Now I want to do the same thing for Test 2 and Test 3 as well. So for that let me repeat the process here. Go to Statistics, go to Basic Statistics, and display Descriptive Statistics. And here I want to select Test 2 and Test 3, so we can do multiple selections. Now click on Statistics. It's all the same, nothing has changed, so just click on OK. Here I get statistics related to test number 2 and test number 3. So if you look here, both have count as 7. Test 2 has a mean of 88.14% and test 3 has 87.14%. So what I can guess from here is, probably test 3 is the tough test, because the average mark students have gotten that is less than test 1 and 2. So this is all about column statistics, where you want to find information related to column. At Invensis Learning, we offer instructor-led, live online Minitab Essentials training course, which is designed for working professionals. Get certified today and stand out from the rest of the crowd.
For more updates on trending technologies, subscribe to Invensis Learning YouTube channel. Also, if you have any queries, share them with us in the comments section.